What's going on, guys? Bunks here and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about portal glyphs, the things you need to gather to be able to use portals to their full potential so that you can go and find some of the rarest ships, rarest pets, multi-tools and freighters, along with being able to visit some of the most amazing paradise planets and the most epic player created bases No Man's Sky has to offer. So, in this video I'm going to be showing you by far the quickest way you can get your hands on all 16 of the portal glyphs, and I'm talking merely a matter of minutes once you've gotten past the first couple of steps. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get stuck in. And just a quick note, you want to make sure that you're in the starter galaxy Euclid for this method of finding the glyphs rapidly, though I suspect you already are if you're watching this video because you won't have got to the centre of it yet. So, there are two main ways to get your hands on all 16 of the portal glyphs, and the first one is to follow the main story missions, and whilst this path will teach you the basics of all aspects of No Man's Sky, and of course they are really useful, it will take you at least 8 hours, and that is if you don't do any exploring whilst you're doing it. So it's not exactly the quickest method, but I would recommend you eventually play through the story if you're new to the game. And the second method is actually one I've created a video for in the past, and that is to go and visit many a space station to go look for travellers and then interact with them. After a quick chat and a cost of 100 nanites, you'll be given the location to their grave and within it a portal glyph. So even though this method is quicker than the story method, it's still a rather tedious process and it can take you a couple of hours depending on how lucky you are with travellers appearing in the space stations that you visit. And not to mention, you will need to craft a whole load of antimatter to warp between many a system. So, how do you get them all really quickly? Well, you will need to follow the space station travel steps until you get the first two portal glyphs, so it won't take you that long, but don't worry, we'll be able to get the other 14 in just a matter of minutes, so it's definitely worth following these steps. So as I mentioned, visit your nearest space station and look for a traveller. They will look like a holograph and they are neither Gek, Vikine or Korvax, so they do stand out in the space station. As far as I'm aware, they don't actually appear on outlaw stations, and of course they don't appear on abandoned stations, so it would need to be a regular bog standard space station. And if there are no travellers on your nearest space station, all you have to do is simply warp to a nearby system and try again. And if you get super lucky, there could be two travellers on one space station. One would be located to the side where the teleporter is and the cartographer, and the other would likely be located in the room on the other side where there is a trade terminal, so make sure you have a look in there as well, just in case. Anyway, once you have found a traveller on board a space station, have a quick chat with them and then select an option. You'll likely be pulled out of the conversation, which is absolutely fine because you can then go back and chat to them again, and it should give the option to ask where they came from at a cost of about 100 nanites. Doing this will give you the location to their grave, where once you've travelled down there, you will get yourself your first glyph. It really is that simple. Now all you have to do is rinse and repeat these steps just one more time until you get yourself the second portal glyph, and then we're in business. So now that you've got the first two portal glyphs, we need to actually find a portal, and it is actually pretty simple to find these portals, so I'm going to give you a really quick breakdown on how to do just that. But if you want a more in-depth version, I will link the video where I explain it in more detail in the description below for you. Right, you ready? Because this will be quick. So, before you start these steps, you want to make sure you either have a Gek relic, Korvax casing, or a Vikine dagger. If you have one of these, make sure you're in a system dominated by that specific alien species as well, before moving on to the next step. So for example, if you have a Gek relic, make sure that you're in a Gek system, and you can check which kind of system you're in at the galaxy map or on a space station. And the next thing you want to do is to purchase yourself a couple of planetary charts of the Asian artifact variety. Try to get yourself at least 5 because you won't always get the thing we're after. And then plot yourself a route, and what you're looking for is an alien monolith. So when you get the location to an alien monolith, go ahead and fly on down. You're then going to want to interact with this alien monolith, and you'll be given a couple of options, one of which is going to give you the location to a portal. However, if you select the wrong option, you're not going to get another chance, so if you do that, just reload the autosave created when you jumped out of your ship to go and interact with the monolith and try again until you get the location of a portal. And then voila, that is a very rapid guide on how to find portals in No Man's Sky. If you want a more in-depth video, be sure to check out my previous video which I have linked in the description below for you. I would also recommend that once you've found a portal, that you plonk yourself a base computer down there so you can visit it very easily at any given time from any teleporter. And a quick note, before we use the portal, make sure that you disable multiplayer in your main menu. And also, you may need to recharge the portal glyphs using a bunch of widely available resources, but once that's done, you want to put in some coordinates that will take us to a system where we can gather the other 14 portal glyphs in a matter of just a few minutes. Of course, these coordinates only use the first 2 portal glyphs, hence why we needed them in the first place, and the coordinates you want to input into the portal are sunset, bird, bird, sunset, 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 bird, 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 and finally another bird. And then go ahead and jump on into that portal. And whilst we're warping to that new system, it would be totally awesome if you could take a couple of seconds to support my channel by hitting those like and subscribe buttons. So once you're through the portal, you should realise you're now on a hazardous planet, and that means it's all gone swimmingly. So go ahead and locate your ship and then hop on out into space. Once you're out in space, you'll probably see a planet that has a shed load of bases on it, and that is our final destination. However, we're not going to fly to it just yet. Nope, we are going to go and head on to the Outlaw space station instead, so make your way up there. So once you've landed in the Outlaw space station, go on and head over to the teleporter and interact with it. If you then select the bases filter, you're going to see a long list of other player bases, and you should probably notice that a bunch of them have the name Glyph in them. So with this in mind, it will mean a lot of these will contain the remaining 14 portal glyphs for you to rapidly collect. Now I will warn you, some of these bases are troll bases and don't actually contain a portal glyph, so be wary of those. Thank you No Man's Sky community, great bants. A bunch of these bases will change quite a lot, so as of the recording of this video, the bases or on-planet coordinates I visited to gather the remaining portal glyphs are these that you can see on your screen right now. I will leave this up for a good 20 seconds or so you can either just pause the video here or take a screenshot. And if you're coming to this video a few months down the line and this list is no longer accurate, why not be a total legend for everyone else and leave a comment with the updated list so myself and other players can use it. You don't actually need to visit all the base numbers in glyph order, like glyph 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, so you can just take whichever route you prefer. Other bases have teleporters at them, so you can easily warp to the next glyph base and so on. If the previous list I displayed is still correct, you'll be able to gather all of the remaining portal glyphs in a matter of just a couple of minutes. It really is that simple. Just make sure you make note of each base or coordinate you've already collected a glyph from so you don't end up going back to the same place more than once. So it won't take you long to visit all of the bases and coordinates, and then once you've got all 16 portal glyphs and that you know how to find portals in every single galaxy, you can now use them to their full potential. You'll be able to find yourself all sorts of amazing things like the rarest starships, pets, multi-tools and freighters, along with some of the best paradise planets and player created bases that No Man's Sky has to offer. If you're a Reddit user like myself, why don't you go ahead and check out the subreddits r/NMS Coordinate Exchange, r/NMS Glyph Exchange and r/NMS_bases. These subreddits will give you access to all of those previously mentioned things, so it's definitely worth scrolling through them to see if anything takes your fancy. And also, why don't you check out my amazing locations playlist, which gives you the location to so many amazing things and of course the coordinates. I will leave a link to the description for that playlist below for you. And if you're still here folks, it would be totally awesome if you could support my channel by hitting those like and subscribe buttons. I will be doing more beginner guide videos like this around No Man's Sky in the future, along with videos covering all other aspects of No Man's Sky, like more amazing locations, glitches, update rumours and more, so you don't want to miss out on those, right? And as always, thank you for watching and catch you next time.